And welcome back to Cover One, everybody. I'm your host, James Bouligny. My co-hosts, Paul Harris and Ryan Chadwick. Guys, how are we doing?
Doing great, man.
Doing good.
Excellent start to the season. We've got some other great, slate of matchups coming up, including 2 ranked matchups between Wall and Jim Dad. I'm excited for it.
And Paul?
Heck yeah, I'm pumped up too, man.
All right. It is week 3 of the Texas high school football season. We have kind of a big surprise in San Angelo, but we'll get into it more here in a second. Let's hear a quick word from Kickin' Cuts. Looking for a fresh cut without breaking the bank? Well, Kickin' Cuts is now open at 4238 Sherwood Way. Haircuts start at $19 for kids and $22 for adults. They offer hot towels, beard detailings, multiple discounts, and they also sell hard-to-find hair care products. Kickin' Cuts is locally owned, and they're ready to get you looking sharp at an affordable price. Kickin' Cuts, located at 4238 Sherwood Way in San Angelo. Okay, thank you very much, Kickin' Cuts, for all your support. Let's get into some recaps. We'll recap the 3 games that we were at last week. That was San Angelo Central, Amarillo, Brownwood and Wall, and Lakeview and Snyder. Paul, go ahead and talk about Central and Amarillo.
Well, I guess it was a little disappointing as another, 3-touchdown loss for the Bobcats, and it's particularly disappointing because they had a couple of goal-to-go situations that came away with 0 points. Totally would have changed the outcome of the game. There's a lot of hype coming into the year about this team being improved, and I think maybe fans are hoping to see a little bit more of that in their home opener, and it hadn't quite happened just yet. That being said, the offense, I feel like, especially because they didn't have running back Zay Johnson, who had an ankle injury, the passing game looked a lot better. Micah Smith, I feel like, took some steps forward. We saw what they could do with their talented receiving core. And, if Zay Johnson's in there, they probably punched those goal-to-go situations in. And the defense gave up a lot of points, but at the same time, that Amarillo High quarterback, man, he could play. He threw for over 3,000 yards last year. He has some really explosive receivers. I don't know if they're going to see another passing attack quite like that. So 2 really tough games to start off the year. And I think Bobcat fans shouldn't be too disappointed just yet. I think things can still turn around for them.
All right, Chad, we'll go ahead and talk about Lakeview and Snyder, the 2-0 Lakeview Chiefs.
Man, it was an exciting game to watch overall. I mean, Lakeview had another issue with like a slow start in the first quarter. It's something that Coach Guevara talked about at the press conference this week. He said, we got to find a way to start faster. He was real pragmatic about the win, saying they can't get ahead of themselves. They just need to continue to improve. He picked out a couple of mistakes. But overall, man, what a dominant win by the Lakeview Chiefs. Another 20-point victory. They scored more than 40 for the second week in a row. Chris Alviso looked great. He spread the ball around. I think he, passed to 6 or 7 different receivers. 4 guys had touchdowns. That running game is coming along. Like the Chiefs have a lot to be proud of so far, and I know Coach Guevara is going to say they have a lot of work to do. But defensively, man, they shut Snyder down until Snyder was basically in last gasp, garbage time, passing attack in that second half. But even then, the Chiefs kept up the scoring in that second half to claim a big victory.
All right, and then I was at the Brownwood Wall game. The Wall Hawks are red hot right now. This is one of the game on their schedules. They lost last year 17-7. This year they went out and won 35-10, and it was really 35-3. Brownwood put up a touchdown there at the end to give them 7 points. Wall is hitting it all cylinders. They are ready to go back to that. They are ready to get to that state game already. And Brownwood, their quarterback Judson Colson was kind of picked in preseason to be that district's offensive MVP. This new offense, this new coach is putting in, I'd like to see him settle in a little bit more. There were times where their tight end was kind of open in the middle of the field between the safeties. I'm like, man, he's wide open. You go ahead and hit him. And he, didn't quite see him. So I'd like to see him grow a little bit more in that offense. And once he does, that Brownwood offense is going to be extremely potent. But we're going to get into some of the games this week. Before we do, here's a quick word from Shelburne Financial. At Shelburne Financial, you are more than just a number. They will help you plan for retirement, prepare tax documents, and more. Whether you're looking to grow your savings or plan for your future, the experienced team at Shelburne Financial is here to help you and guide you every step of the way. Give them a call at 944-9447 or head over to 3177 Executive Drive and invest in your future. All right, guys, we have some good games in week 3. Central's looking to get into the win column. They're playing Abilene Cooper this week. Guys, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, man. Like, this game is a game that Central won a season ago in like a last-minute shootout fashion. Christian English like scored with almost no time remaining for the Bobcats to win this one, and it's going to be. I can kind of see that same kind of scenario going into this one. Abilene Cooper's got a very potent rushing attack, especially their quarterback there. What was his name? Hold on, Jaden Carrillo. Like, he is already proven that he is a huge threat in the run game. He's only 10 yards behind their very explosive running back. So I do think that Central's got a good test against the run this weekend. Offensively, though, I do believe the Bobcats are going to be able to score. I expect to see Zay Johnson back. I don't think that ankle injury is going to keep him out this week. I could be wrong at this point, but the Bobcats really need him. But I do think the Bobcats get back on track and they finally get their first win of the season.
All right, Paul, you want to go ahead and talk about Lakeview and Lamesa?
Lamesa, yeah.
Lamesa. Oh, I apologize.
So
Lamesa has a decent team. Like, this isn't going to be a gimme win for Lakeview.
No, it was a 55-42 win for Lakeview last year, and both quarterbacks are back. We know what a talented quarterback Chris Alviso is for Lakeview. Daniel Ramos, he's just a sophomore at Lamesa. I mean, he had a breakout year last year, and he's got a receiver. I can't remember his name, but he had 27 touchdown catches last year.
1,300 yards receiving, yeah.
Yeah, so total stud, so both teams have weapons. It should be another shootout. It should be a really exciting game. It's in Lamesa. So, it is definitely a game that could trip Lakeview up. They definitely can't take Lamesa lightly. And like I said, if there's that many points last year and both guys coming back at quarterback, it could be another shootout for sure.
But what an opportunity for them to go 3-0, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it hadn't happened too many times.
The second time, right? The second time in 25 years they've gone
3-0. They started 3-0 in 2019, and it was since 1996 or 97 since they had started 3-0 before that. So it's definitely an exciting chance for them to get off to a good start.
All right. Now we're going to talk about Brady and Ozona. This is probably going to be one of the better matchups in the Concho Valley. Both teams are 2-0. They both shut out their first opponents, and then the next week I think Brady gave up 22 points and Ozona gave up 29 points. But Ozona has a not-so-secret weapon in Christian Villarreal, has put up stupid numbers. The guy is a freak on the field. He's averaging 372 yards a game. He's already got 13 total touchdowns. He's playing insane. But Brady has a pretty good, defense. They're both big up front. Both these teams are big up front. And Coach Roberts talked about them controlling the line of scrimmage, and that's going to be a big key factor into this game is who wins the line of scrimmage. And you have DeMarcus Reed and Nasir Menafield up front, who are two talented defensive tackles. Nasir is just a mountain of a man out there. So it's going to take Christian Villarreal. I don't think you're going to run into those guys. You might try to run them outside. So it's going to be up to those defensive backs and those linebackers to kind of clean up what's coming off the edge to Christian Villarreal. Both teams have passed when needed, when they have to, but it seems like they rely more on the run game. But they do pass a little bit. Elijah Stark, I'm messing up his name. I'm sorry, Coach Robert. He's a wide receiver, but he plays some at running back, so he's just kind of a Swiss Army knife. He can kind of move around, put him in the slot, put him out wide. And Sean Jacoby, a couple years ago, he's a sophomore. He definitely took his lumps his sophomore season, but they've gotten him very comfortable in the offense. He let him state 7-on-7, so he's extremely comfortable now. He's put on some size, and he's going to be a big factor. He's a dual threat. He's able to run the ball, and of course, Ashton Taylor's able to run the ball. It's a three-headed monster versus just a beast, and it's Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, pretty much, three-headed dragon. That's pretty much what is going on here. It's going to be a great matchup. I'm really excited for it. And then we have Jim Ned and the Wall Hawks, the number 10 Jim Ned Indians versus the number 3 Wall Hawks. Guys, this is going to be a good one too.
Yeah, man. I talked to Coach Slaughter yesterday after practice, and he's already excited. He knows the boys are excited. He's kind of had to try to keep the emotions down a little bit because they're already chomping at the bit. They beat Brownwood. That was one big game they had circled that they lost last year. But this Jim Ned game is almost at that exact same level. It's a ranked team. It's a historic rivalry at this point. These two teams. these two schools more like they play each other in every sport, so they know each other at this point.
They pretty much play each other every year in football.
Literally,
it's just one of those
It's
games
just become a tradition, like an actual rivalry, I do think Wall has the edge in this one just because of their offensive firepower they bring to the table. But more importantly than that, it's that Wall Hawks defense. No team that they've played so far has really challenged them to the point where their offenses had to make up for it, and I don't expect that to change. Like the Wallhawks are incredibly disciplined on defense. They always end up with at least one takeaway, at least one sack. So I'd like to see Wall's running game, get a little more involved because they're not going to get the ball as many times as other teams because Jim Ned likes to drain that clock, So Wall's going to have to take advantage of the few times that they get the ball, and they need to give their defense enough rest when they do. So we need a good running game from Wall this week.
All right, Paul, you agree?
Yeah, and like I said, Brownwood was the revenge game, but they barely got past Jim Ned last year. They scored with 8 seconds left, then got the 2-point conversion to win the game. So
no, this is very much the game so far. Mason had a new head coach, new offensive line. Brownwood, new head coach. They had they had a sophomore starting at tight end there in Brownwood. So this game here between Jim Ned, this is second year for Coach McClure. This is going to be I think that's his name, Coach McClure, Jonathan McClure, there in Jim Ned. I'm pretty sure. Again, he's just like Slaughter's second year for him. And I think Jim Ned's taking off in the right direction. This is going to be a extremely good matchup. You agree?
Jonathan McClure.
McClure, I had it right.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, 2 top 10 teams in the state going at it. You can't ask for better than that. It's an awesome atmosphere in Tuscola. I saw them play 5 years ago when Jim Ned, back when they're in the same district, and Jim Ned beat Wall on the way to a state title. So yeah, it's going to be an awesome game, awesome atmosphere.
All right. And of course,
okay.
What were you saying?
I was just going to say one more thing. Wall needs to be tested at this point. The starters haven't played past 2 quarters, so I'm looking forward to that.
All right. And we're going to hear a quick word from the ArcLight. We're getting to our player of the week and some of the other games coming up. Football season is here. You can catch all the college action and live music at the ArcLight Bar and Grill located inside the Clarion Hotel at 441 Rio Concho Drive in San Angelo. This weekend, the Georgia Bulldogs take on the Tennessee Volunteers at 2:30 in the afternoon, and then at 6:30, the number 16 Texas A&M Aggies travel to South Bend to take on the number 8 Notre Dame Fighting Irish. After the game, enjoy the live music with John Stork as he stops by for an acoustic show this Saturday, September 13th, only at the ArcLight Bar and Grill located at 441 Rio Concho Drive inside the Clarion Hotel. All right, and we just kind of talked about this kid. Player of the Week, Christian Villarreal. It's going to be probably the Christian Villarreal Award this year. He's putting up just
video game numbers.
Yeah,
James.
Video game numbers, pretty much. Y'all want to go ahead and read his stat line real fast for last week?
18 carries, 373 yards, and 5 touchdowns. In the past game, 4 catches, 134 yards, and a single touchdown.
It was a 99-yard touchdown.
Insane.
Yeah, he's playing incredibly good. And Coach Pitts is excited to have him. Excited to have that offensive line, and it's when you have a player like that, it takes a lot of pressure off of you as a coach. Just hey, we can turn around and hand it to him. But it's one thing this week in Brady I'd like to see Brady do is say, hey, we're gonna make you find someone else to beat us with. So I'm excited about that game. And
yeah, but congratulations to him, man. On pace for 3,800 yards this season. That's insane.
All right.
Because he had what, 2 yards rushing, more yards rushing this week than he did last week?
It was almost identical stats. I think last week he had 17 carries for
I think it was 371
yards.
Yeah.
And 7 touchdowns. So that was the only difference was touchdowns, pretty much. But all right, some of the games coming up, Abilene and Permian, guys.
Man, I'll just run through all of District 2-6A for you, man.
And before you do, it's a rough start for this district. 1 for 11.
Yeah,
all season long so far.
With that being said, District 2-6A just decided to schedule ranked powerhouses. They're tired of getting beat by the Metroplex in the second round of the playoffs. So I get the logic, but tough. And it's another tough test for Permian this week as they're playing number 8 Abilene High. And I know Abilene High is a 5A, but shoot, it's like Abilene High could easily be in this district and compete with these guys. We got Midland and Amarillo. Amarillo is just outside that top 10 at this point as well. It's going to be a real tough game for Midland. I don't see them winning that one. But Friendship is traveling to play Wichita Falls Legacy. The Tigers need to get right. Still got a new quarterback. They're still trying to figure out that offense. And then Midland Lee and Lake Travis, man. You want to talk about a gauntlet. They've already played Allen. They've already played Euless Trinity, and now they're playing Lake Travis. I get the logic, but at the same time, like, Midland Lee will be excited for district when it comes around. And then finally we got Odessa High versus El Paso Eastwood. Eastwood usually wins their district every year. They kicked Central out of the playoffs the last time the Bobcats made it. It's going to be another tough matchup for the Broncos.
All right, and then we have Brownwood and Glen Rose, and Stephenville and Godley are playing each other. And then into some of the local schools. Paul, you want to go ahead and read some of these?
Yeah, we got Grape Creek and Bangs. That's exciting. That's the game last year that Grape Creek rallied from a 27-0 halftime deficit to win 38-27. Grape Creek's coming off the win over Reagan County and a convincing win, 38-16. So, Grape Creek Eagles are exciting as they chase their first playoff win this year. We got TLCA at Ballinger. That's an intriguing game. Ballinger with the
injuries they've had, and
losing quarterback and running back by this week. It's tough, but they got a big win over Cristobal last week, 13-6, and they had a huge win over TLCA last year. TLCA's shown some improvement, and they haven't won a game since 2023, so they may be thinking this is a chance for us to try to get our first win.
Before you go any further, I do want to bring up the improvements at TLCA. They have improved tremendously from last year to this year. I think just having Coach O have an off season with these guys, he came in late, kind of a weird thing last year, and these guys have improved dramatically over last season.
Yeah, they've scored points in every game this year so far. So,
all right, and then you want to go ahead and continue there?
Yeah, we got Sonora at El Dorado. The 277 rivalry there. That should be. Sonora's looked pretty good to start the year, even though they lost to Johnson City last week, and El Dorado unfortunately had to deal with the runaway train. Known as
Christian Villarreal.
We got Miles at Johnson City, and then Reagan County at Odessa Compass, who I don't know if you've noticed, but that's a school that used to kind of get smoked at first, and they've been pretty competitive. They beat, I think, Ira Ann last week, and so I was like, whoa, Odessa Compass is stepping their game up, And then Cristobal at McCamey. We got Sterling City at Winners. Those are two teams that have struggled, and so one of them going to have a chance to win. And then Mason at Coleman, which is interesting because Mason is off to a rough start,
Yeah, 0-2. That's a weird start for Mason.
So this is a chance for them to get a win.
Much.
And then moving on into six-man after that, we got Water Valley at Panther Creek, which Water Valley is up to number 2 in the state. They will not move up to number 1. Water Valley won't catch Gordon. But Panther Creek's off to a 2-0 start, so it's been exciting for them. But I think that start will.
Yeah, that probably ends this week.
I think that'll end this week as well. Yeah, and then we got Bront at Very Best as far as a matchup in our county, and Bront's looking pretty good to start the year. And Very Best has had a rough start, especially with Bryce Martin not in the lineup for them.
Right.
And then what was the last game? Ira at Robert Lee. Good chance to go see Robert Lee. They've looked awesome to start the year. 45-point win over Garden City last week.
Brenner Sherwood is that dude for six-man.
He is that dude, man.
That dude.
He put up ridiculous numbers again last week. I cannot wait to see Water Valley and Robert Lee throw down in district play, man.
I have been telling all of my friends who aren't even football people, I'm like, if you go to any game this year, go out to Water Valley for a Water Valley game, because that is one. It's six-man. And six-man is just the most pure form of football, in my opinion, and it's going to be an incredible game. I hope it gets into the hundreds. I mean, I really do. I want to see one of those top 5 scoring games in the history of the state. But let's get into some college ball now. We have a D2 number. Chadwick, go ahead and take this one. Sorry.
Got the Angelo State Rams, the number 8 ranked in Division II. They moved up this week after their big win over Emporia State last weekend. They traveled to Portales, New Mexico to play Eastern New Mexico. This is going to be a game where the Rams are going to have to stay disciplined on defense, because this is a triple option team, reminiscent of Navy or like the old Wall Hawks. Angelo State's not going to get the ball much. Eastern New Mexico is going to try to grind an entire quarter off every time they touch the ball. With that being said, Rams lost Braden Fuller last week. Don't know if he's completely back yet. Luckily, it was just a calf injury and nothing structural in that knee or ankle, so he will be back. But I do think that the Rams have a little bit to overcome, especially against a very disciplined Eastern New Mexico team. But I think the Rams go big in that one. After that, we got number 21, Texas Tech versus Oregon State. First true test for the Red Raiders this weekend. It's their third straight game at home, their third straight sellout. The fans are excited. The defense is ranked number 2 overall in the nation right now with the number 2 or with the number 1 pass rush in the nation. Say what you want about their opponent so far, but that defensive line is the real deal. Quarterback Baron Morton is going absolutely insane on the offensive side of the ball. He spread the ball around to 10 different receivers last week, and I don't expect that to change. Oregon State, not as good this year. People thought they'd be better, but they're off to a rough start, but they will be a better test for Texas Tech. Then we got number 7 Texas versus UTEP. Arch Manning had his get-right game last week. Expected the Horns to score more than 38 against San Jose State, but they were up 28-0 in the first quarter, so say what you want about taking your foot off the gas. Another big win for the Horns this weekend. Number 16 A&M versus number 8 Notre Dame. This might be the best game all weekend. If you have some time, sit down. If you only have time for one game, watch this one. We are truly going to see what Texas A&M's made of. They've won both their games against, middling opponents, and they ended up winning in dominant fashion, but that whole first half and both the first 2 games have not been impressive by the Aggies. So you want to find out what Texas A&M's worth this year. Let's see how they do against Notre Dame, and that's college football.
Notre Dame. Why do they get so much love from the preseason polls and college football in general, man?
They're college football, man.
No,
they're
man,
historic.
they do the same thing every year. They look good in the season, and they get matched up into the playoffs, and then they get to the national championship game, and then they just get whooped.
I mean, we'll see.
Am I wrong?
I mean,
Am I wrong?
It's a new landscape with the NIL. We might see a Notre Dame national championship in this century. I don't know. I'm not a fan either, man. I feel you. I'm trying to be a good guy here.
Why? We keep it real in San Angelo. All right, we're going to hear a quick word from Angelo MRI, and we'll be right back with final thoughts.
Have you ever needed an MRI? Do you know someone that needs an MRI? And did you know that you have a choice? When your doctor orders an MRI, tell them that you choose Angelo MRI. The founders of Angelo MRI started Angelo MRI when they faced the high cost of MRIs from traditional medical facilities. That's why Angelo MRI offers a better way, a high-quality MRI for just $5.95. And Angelo MRI accepts all insurance, saving you time and money. It's your health, your money, and your choice. Angelo MRI, 4114 South Jackson in San Angelo, or look them up at angelomri.com. Remember, when your doctor orders an MRI, tell them that you choose Angelo MRI.
All right, some final thoughts. I am really, really excited about this Brady Ozona game. They pretty much mirror each other, and it's gonna be a battle all game long, especially if both these teams come to play. I was talking to Jaron Roberts earlier this week, and he talked about how his team, I mean, they're online, they read San Angelo Live, and they've been seeing what Christian Villarreal has done. He said, I did not need to motivate them this week. They know what they have to do, and it's going to be an exciting game. I'm excited about this one. Guys, final thoughts?
Man, little two-parter here. I truly believe the Bobcats are going to get their first win this season. I need Micah Smith to find his top 3 guys, Gavin Johnson, Jimmy Edwards, sorry, and Colton Hill early. I want that passing game to be dominant. Wall, Jim Ned. My only thought is, man, I hope it's a good game.
Paul?
Yeah, I would just encourage people to get out and see some of the schools we have in the Concho Valley. Central, this is the last chance to see them for a few weeks because they got back-to-back road games coming up, and then their bye week, so they won't be at home again until they start off district with Midland Lee or Legacy, whichever one it is now. And then there's other schools. Lakeview's off to a great start. They're out of town this week, though. Water Valley, number 2 in the state. Like we said, that's exciting. We got the big Robert Lee game coming up, and then Grape Creek as well, just right outside the city limits. They're off to an exciting start. So a lot of good football to see, and you don't have to drive too far to see it.
All right. And you can go read our previews for the Central, Abilene Cooper, Lakeview, Lamesa, and Brady Ozona on San Angelo Live. This has been the pregame show. I will see you for the post.